Welcome to our show. It's great to have you with us. On this week's show, we talk about gypsum board partitions and just how you can use them whether on your walls and or ceilings in your home or office. But before we get to that, let's have a look at what we have on our Property of the Week segment. 300 meters off Magadi Road in Kiserian are these 5 bungalows tucked inside a gated community. All units at Gracious Villas are on an 1/8 acre and have a landscaped section for gardening. The ballast chip parking can fit about 3 cars and a chain link fence surrounds all units. On the front yard in every unit is a septic tank. There is also provision of water harvesting due to the box profile roof iron sheets. The bungalow is 3-bedroom with a master en suite with an entrance porch that is ceramic tiled. The entire house has PVC ceilings and is fitted with curtain rods that have a gold theme. There are TV ports and sockets in specific points in the living room, which is lit by both full moonlight and half moonlight fixtures. For privacy, the house has tinted glass windows that allow view from the inside but not the outside. The living room flows to the dining room with a separate wash sink at the corner. All floors are ceramic tiled. The dining room has a U-shaped opening into the kitchen, allowing layout of cutlery during lunch or dinner. The kitchen has marble countertops with a separate wash sink. There are ample MDF cabinets and pull-out drawers as well as sockets for all electric kitchen appliances. The first room is considered the guest room. It is simple and precise with the signature tinted glass window for privacy. There are sockets on the walls and an MDF laminate wardrobe with enough space for one. The curtain rods are gold themed, giving the room an elegant look. The second room is similar to the first with more wardrobe space, tinted glass windows and the golden theme curtain rods. All inner doors in the house are flush doors. The shared toilet and bath are ceramic tiled and are separated by a middle wall. The wash sink is fitted outside the lavatory. The master bedroom has more fittings than other rooms. There is a block board placing that can be used as a dresser or a study area. A shoe rack is fitted and the MDF laminate wardrobes and pull-out drawers have more space, enough for 2. The toilet and bath are ceramic tiled on the walls and floor with a wash sink in the middle. Water in the area is supplied by Kiserian Water. In addition, each unit has a 1,000-litre top tank. Gracious Villas has close proximity to St. Patrick Hill School and Kiserian Shopping Centre. The 3-bedroom bungalow is on sale for $5.2 million. You could be having beautiful centerpieces on your table such as these, but you don't know what to use on your placemats. Well, if you have fabric lying around, you can easily change that into beautiful placemats with shredded sides. We show you how to do it on our Property Essential segment. It's often an exciting time when decorating your living room and trying to mix and match all those unique ideas you have. But what happens when you run out of ideas and you have decorated everything else aside from your table? Got a new table over Christmas and now you have no idea what to do with it? Don't fret, there's always a way to work around these things. And placemats is the easiest fun way to give your table an edgy design. Placemats can be bought or made. They're usually used to keep off those drink or food spills on your table and make your visitors look forward to mealtime. Placemats can either be bought or made. Now, if you have a cheap budget, it's easy for you to make them. Just basically go to your wardrobe, ransack. If you have fabric that you don't use it, you can use that as your placemats. Now, placemats are very, very important, especially to get rid of those drink or food spills. Let's show you how to make those beautiful fabric placemats. So here is the best idea to give a creative, personal touch to your table placemats. No cash needed, nothing, just a light bulb that just got lit. All you have to do is ransack your wardrobe and check for that fabric that has been lying around and you had no use for it. You simply have your fabric placemats, but please be sure to only use this fabric for your placemats. Don't be tempted to get a cloth design for it. We don't want you matching with your table. On a light note, what you need: fabric of any kind depending on what you find. You can even choose to buy, say, a meter of fabric from a local store. It's ridiculously cheap. A pair of fabric scissors, a 30cm ruler, a marker or a highlighter. Now, depending on how big your fabric is, that's why you need a measure to make sure that you get the right sizes. What you do is that you put your ruler, specifically 30cm, then you can get that specific measurement. And because this is fabric and it has many designs, you have to ensure that each design is put up in your placemat. This is why you need a highlighter. After this, you take your pair of fabric scissors. You don't cut all of it. You start by putting a mark there where the highlighter is. You then turn your fabric. The reason why you need to do this is to ensure that you have straight lines for your placemats. It'll now be easier for you to cut it in a straight line. Take your fabric scissors and cut to precision depending on the design of fabric. Make sure there is continuity. It's good to get the best color of highlighter or marker depending on the color of your fabric, because sometimes the color of the highlighter remains on the placemat, so you need a color that will go well with your fabric. There you have it, your placemat from fabric, and you can see the edges look really good, not plain edges. Do the same for the rest of the fabric. Now, after you've cut that piece of fabric, you'll realize that there is a little piece remaining that cannot be used for a placemat. But there's something else you can use it for, and still on your dinner table. You will use it for coasters. You look at the designs. For this specific coasters, you don't have to cut it using measurement, because as you can see, every design is different. So what we'll do, we'll cut them according to the design. It's easier to cut it as a large piece, and then when you're done, you can make the small pieces as they are already marked, so it will be easier for you. Once you're done, display your fabric placemats beautifully for a dinner or lunch set. Fabric placemats can be used in any setting, evening, early morning breakfast, or whether it is a tea party. Feel free to explore. We now take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back with so much more. Stay tuned. It's always great to have you watching us. Now, research conducted in various parts of developed countries and especially in Israel indicates that the use of dry walls, commonly known as gypsum boards, is very, very important and can save up to 70% of construction. With us today is Classic Molding CEO Moshe Neumann. Thank you so much, Moshe, for coming. We really do appreciate.
Pleasure.
And we want to tell everyone about gypsum boards, how they can be used. But before we get into that discussion, tell us, what is a gypsum board? What does the material used especially for these gypsum boards?
Gypsum is actually a raw material from nature, like lime, and it is compressed with two cartons. And usually there are various thicknesses. The common thickness here is 12 millimeter, and it's two cartons that are very workable and compressed and very flat gypsum filling in between. Each board is it's actually 2.4 by 1.2, that's a typical size, by 1.2 meter. And you apply the boards on a metal construction, galvanized, light metal. Then you apply the boards together. Then you have to join the two boards. You have to hide the joint with a certain filler and a certain tape, and it's very easy and fast.
Are these materials locally available? Can we get them here, or do we have to outsource?
I would say that nowadays, all over East Africa, there are many importers who bring gypsum board, in fact, in giant quantities. And there is even one manufacturer who does it here in Kenya. It's very important to assess which quality. There are few qualities of boards that one can find, and there are many, many suppliers, many importers.
And what about the pricing and the costings? How much does a board go for? How do you get it in lump sum, or how do you go about it?
I would say the price of a board, we have to remember that a gypsum wall or gypsum ceiling consists of structure, skimming material, and other materials. That quality matters. But the price of a board is about 1,200 to 1,300 shilling per board. That's about.
If you want to do a home, is it dependent on how many boards you get?
There is a lot of offcuts in the gypsum construction. When you construct a wall, there is quite a bit of offcut. I would say that at times it's 60%, 50%. It depends on the elements and the design of the gypsum interior construction.
All right, when we kind of differentiate between a conventional brick wall and now gypsum, we know it's very light. Gypsum is about 25 kg, while the common or concrete masonry is about 250. How does this pose as an advantage that it's lighter than what we commonly refer to as brick?
So first of all, gypsum drywall construction, as it's called, or just gypsum board, is a very fast way of construction. A brick wall that, as you said, is about 250 kg, comparing one skin or one layer of gypsum is about 11 kgs per square meter, times 2 and times add the structure is 25 kg. The thing is that the speed is very high of constructing a gypsum wall. And don't forget that you don't have a drying time like in a normal masonry wall. You need to know that a masonry wall should never be built more than 5-6 layers of blocks a day. You need to give it time to dry, and you need to plaster it, and it's quite a long process.
Is there any other advantage that you could talk about?
So first of all, passing piping, conduits, electrical conduits, is very easy because the wall is hollow. It's true that you need to, if we want to do it very well, we need to insulate the wall with some glass wall. But the wall is hollow and it's very easy to pass piping inside, and the speed is enormous.
Okay, so when we look at advantages, are there any disadvantages that come with gypsum board walls or ceilings that you could mention?
I would say that water, if there is any water leak and there is a water pipe leaking in the wall, though it would harm also a masonry wall. And with a gypsum wall, it's faster to repair. But humidity is quite an enemy to a gypsum wall. And therefore, let's say wet rooms like bathrooms, etc., you need to use a different type of a gypsum board. It's a moisture resistant, or as we call it, MR board. It's green color. And it's very important to use it in bathrooms, no compromise. However, still, we have to watch out, it doesn't resist real water. It's only humidity.
I want you to tell us specifically how long would it take to, say, put up a 3-bedroom house with gypsum ceilings and gypsum walls. Give us a duration.
If it is just a flat ceiling, and in a minute I can add and tell you about what you can do with ceilings, but if it's just straightforward flat ceiling and walls, I would say that within 3 months one can have a whole 3-bedroom house made with gypsum partitions and walls. As I said, these days in hotels all over the world, there are empty floors, shafts in the middle, staircases, and everything inside is gypsum. It's gypsum drywall, so the construction is very fast. But I would say that about 3-4 months you can have a whole house done if it's flat and straightforward.
So you had mentioned that a gypsum board costs about 1,200 to say 1,300 Kenya shillings, yeah? That's one board. When we look at affordability, especially in homes here in Kenya, everyone wants to own their home and they're looking at ways of saving their money. And when we're talking about gypsum boards, gypsum walls and ceilings, how do we go about making sure that people can get affordable homes by using gypsum?
So let's not forget that if a couple or somebody who is constructing a house, if he can stop renting a house earlier, it makes him save money. The total cost of a square meter of a wall is about 4,500 Kenya shilling. And I believe that constructing a masonry wall with the plaster and the paint is in both cases. But plaster, drying time, the mess in the house, because drywall is very clean. So I would say the advantages of the cost savings on gypsum is not the direct cost of the gypsum. In a way, it's more expensive than the masonry construction, but if you bring the factor of saving on rent, so it could be worth thinking about it.
And when you think about maintenance, how do you make sure you maintain gypsum? Is there specific ways that you should go about it or none?
There is no need to do anything for maintenance. It's very important that the construction is done by a qualified and good company, because there are many hidden secrets in the finishing of a gypsum or drywall construction.
What are some of these safety precautions that come with it?
First of all, a normal 12 millimeter gypsum drywall, I mean, I'm talking about one side or if it's a ceiling, so it's only one side, one surface, but in a wall you have two. Normally, a gypsum wall is half an hour fire resistant. That's one. Number two, you were asking about safety. The reliability of the people who construct it is very important because the span of structure, the distances of structures, studs and rails that are involved in this construction is very important. I have seen gypsum ceilings falling down because of too light structure. And lastly, it's important to mention that the finishing, the smoothing and skimming of the wall matters very much, and you can see differences of quality.
Okay, tell us what should people look out for so that now we don't have these cases of, gypsum ceilings falling.
First of all, I think past references. And it's very important to remind us that actually gypsum ceiling or gypsum walls are the cleanest form of interiors. They provide very neat lines, very neat corners. So if you use a bad installer, you will see joints, you will see paint peeling off, and you will be able to verify. So the idea is usually go and find some previous jobs that were really done by the same people so you can confirm quality.
Thank you so much, Moshe, for shedding light into gypsum boards. And I'm sure many of you who are watching are now sure of what you would want to do in whether it's your home or your office, and the speed at which you can get gypsum boards on your ceilings or walls is amazing. In about 3 months, you can move into that 3-bedroom house. But as we've mentioned, make sure you get the professional services so as not to have problems even later. It's all about affordability of the homes that you are building, and with gypsum board partitions, whether on your walls and ceilings, you could save just a little bit more and use it on different constructions for your home. Thank you so much for taking time to be with us this Sunday. Remember, next week we still have so much more informative topics just for you right here on NTV Property Show.